Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Frieren, Season 1, Episode 7. I'm so excited. I love this show so much. This is the second, I guess, week we're watching it, right? I mean, the first, which is kind of wild.
The first week had a lot of episodes.
Yeah, 6 episodes technically, but it was a lot of amazing content, and I enjoyed every second of it.
It was fun to watch it all together, too.
I completely agree. And it feels like we're, just like after that first 2-hour special, it almost feels like we're at like a fresh starting point,
Mm-hmm.
And
the gates have opened, and now we are on our way.
With just one more person added, Stark.
Yes.
I'm very excited to see where we go from here. Obviously, Frieren is so motivated to help the northern people as soon as she can from the Demon King's forces.
That was her plan. That's
priority
why she's here.
numero uno.
Yep.
Let's see what happens. Are you excited?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Oh, I'm so excited. Flam. Wow, flashback. I want to meet one of these people imitating.
The appeal in something that's not real.
Yeah.
Founder of humanity's magic.
No wonder you're last awake. You have no idea.
Just get ready for this journey.
Yes!
He's like, how did I get roped into this? That's so funny. That's how I feel when I wake up early.
Do you deserve praise?
Yeah. Here's some coffee.
Frieren is an elf who's lived forever and a great...
I think I deserve a nice cold brew coffee and a cinnamon roll for waking up early.
Frieren can make snowballs out of nothing.
Yeah? I can do things.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like just the existence of somebody like who's still alive, who was Flam's disciple, is extremely valuable in of itself.
The only one that probably still would recognize her face.
The founder of humanity's magic, like a fairy tale.
This poor merchant.
So cool. Doesn't help everybody else.
Other people.
Yes.
That's what Yeah, I bet Frieren convinced you of this, Frieren. He took it off!
The scars of battle.
Like what he has.
I wouldn't call that a battle.
She's never really been around someone the same age as her.
You asked for the informality.
It's just more comfortable for her.
Looks great. Oh, look at that horse.
Please. You love a good horse in an anime.
Wow, okay, they are few and far between. Yeah.
Wonder why.
Interesting. Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense, though.
Quietly going extinct. 400 years ago.
Wow. What was that?
Is that a swing? Lack romantic interest.
The Liberation Festival.
今日は勇者ヒンメル様ご一行がこの地域を支配していた魔族を討伐してくださった日です。町の中央広場にあるヒンメル様たちの像を飾り付け、町全
We've
体
been
で
here
盛
before.
大に祝うのです。人間にとって何かを忘れ去るのに十
True.
分すぎる時間です。それでもこの日だけは皆ヒンメル様たちを思い出すのです。
上出来だね。
リテイク5回か。
5 retakes.
早く終わりましたね。
The poor sculptor.
ヒンメルってよく像を作ってもらっているよね。
みんなに覚えていてほしいと
No.
思ってね。後世にしっかりと僕の意見を残しておかないと。
そろそろ宿に戻ろうか。
でも一番の理由は君が未来で一人ぼっちにならないようにするた
Stop,
め
you're
だ
gonna make me cry. Whoa.
おとぎ話じゃない。僕たちは確かに
We really existed.
そういえばあなたは勇者様ご一行のフリーレン様の像によく似ていらっしゃる。
これ100年後も続いているかな。
この町が続く限りは。
Got like chills.
目指すは北の果てだ。
I adore this story.
この旅の目的地ってまだ聞いてなかったな。
Oh, he doesn't know where we're going.
天国。
そいつは楽しそうだ。
Yeah, it does. Graph Granite's domain.
フリーレン様、街中ですよ。魔族だ。
グラナト伯爵、あなたの差し金ですか？
リュグナー
Lord
殿、確かに私は
Lugner.
お前たちを殺したいほど憎んでいる。街中で堂々と和睦の使者を手にかけるほどバカではないわ。
Peace envoys.
死者。
冷静で殺意のこもった冷たい目だ。私たちを憎んでいるこの町の住民でさえ、私を見るときは怯えながらも人を見る目をしている。
She's not trembling.
だが、君のその目はまるで猛獣でも見ている。
I didn't know they would have like human
Me
forms.
either.
お前たち魔族は人の声真似をするだけの言葉の通じない猛獣だ。
Do you think if she just like name dropped herself, or they did on Frieren's behalf, it would be
Not with
immediately
what
different?
she did. They had to put her down there for what she did, even if it's just for a little time out.
フリーレン様。
Oh, cool shot.
思って
2 to 3 years.
魔族が和睦の使者ってどういうことなの？買い出しのついでに調べてきました。
Thank you, Fern.
担当台のアウラは知っていますか？
Aura the
That sounds like a
guillotine.
lovely name.
七宝剣の一人でしょう。アウラは28年も前に力を取り戻して、
Okay.
この町はその軍勢と長い間戦ってきたようなのですが、
Hmm.
無益な殺し合いに疲弊したアウラ側が和睦の申し出をしてきたそうです。
Suing for peace.
言葉があるんだ。話し合いで解決するならそれに越したことはねえじゃねえか。
魔族は人食いの化け物だ。そいつらが人類と同じ言葉を使う理由を考えたことはある。
Like that monster last episode,
早くとどめろ。
using your memories to eat you.
まだ
It's to endear themselves to you.
そいつは私たちの娘を飼い殺したのよ。
She could see him almost out.
痛いよ。お母さん。もういい。私がやる。ふざけないで。
うちで手当てをしよう。ちょうど畑の手伝いを探していたところだ。
Dead. He's gonna die.
ヒンメル、今殺しておかないと後悔するよ。
フリーレン、僕たちには言葉がある。どうせこの村には滞在するんだ。様子を見ようじゃないか。
It went bad. He's gonna lose his little girl. It
I'm
goes
so
bad.
scared.
It goes bad. They're gonna think it's safe to leave.
Did it go bad in a misunderstanding way? Or...
なぜ村長を殺した？
やっぱりあの時殺しておくべきだったんだわ。
No, I want to know why she did it. She didn't kill the little girl, so why did she kill him?
毎日のように殺意を感じていました。私は平穏に過ごしたい。
She's gonna like give them the little girl.
私が食べてしまったあなたの娘の代わりを。
その子は村長の娘だ。
村長はもういませんよ。仕方がありません。この子は人質に。もう止めないよね。
You won't stop me again, will you?
またお母さんか。魔族は魔物と同じで子育ての習慣がなく、産み落とされてから多くの時間を天涯孤独に過ごす。
Solitude and elves live in solitude. No concept of family. Similar to what we learn about
なん
elves.
でお母さんなんて言葉を使うの？だって殺せなくなるでしょ。まるで魔法のような
Magical.
素敵な言葉。大魔法使いフランメは言葉を話す魔物を魔族と定義づけた。その祖先は獲物をおびき寄せるために物陰から助けてと言葉を。
Jesus Christ.
The one that tried to lure you guys.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
それより気になるのはあの魔法使いだ。あの顔どこかで。
You know her face?
There's thousands of
言葉
statues.
の通じない猛獣か。この町で彼女だけが我ら魔族の本質を理解している。人を喰らう捕食者が人の言葉を話す理由などただ一つ。
分かり合うための言葉ではなく、欺くため。この町ももう長くはないな。
Oh no.
You let them in. You let in the peace envoys and that was your mistake.
早く家督を継いでわしに楽をさせると生意気なことをよく言っておった。
Was he killed by a demon?
Killed in fighting the demons? Look at that.
10年前にアウラとの戦いで死んだ。ディグナー！お前たちを招き入れたのは
Okay.
息子を晴らすためだ。僕なんてクソくらいだ。
He's gonna use
He's
his
using
family
something.
against
He's
him.
using something. Using
こ
words
の
and
部屋はよ
knowledge.
く掃除が行き届いています。私もあなた方に殺された父上の部屋をそのままに。
Oh, he's fucking
Oh, like
lying.
mom! It's just like mom!
もうやめにしませんか、グラナト。
He's endearing himself to
血を
you!
流し、誰かを悲しませるつもりですか。
This is so fucking interesting.
私たちには言葉があります。
Using it!
話し合いの機会を。
Mm-mm. Don't lower it. You're dead.
It's like evolution for a different kind of being.
It's like a plant that secretes a certain smell that has the prey come. It's so...
父上って何？
なんだろうね。
Oh my god. Jesus Christ.
グラナト伯爵は我々に恨みがあるようだが、
They're so good at reading. They're so good at observing. They're just learning.
取り入れれば和睦と称してこの町の防護結界を解除させることも可能だろう。
In the name
あと
of
はアウラ
peace,
様
but
の
then...
軍勢がこの町を滅ぼしてくださる。
Oh my god.
What does she look like?
It
She's
kind of looks
in
like
the
the person from the
intro.
intro.
ドラートの姿が見えないようだが、
We're getting names.
物を消しに行くってさ。
先走ったな。
Going after Frieren?
血の気が多くてこ
Maybe Fern and Stark. Or Frieren.
ドラート殿、このような
You're about to die.
困ります。確実に
Oh! He's like Fred!
She could feel it.
面会時間ではないはずだけど。
断頭台のアウラが配下。
Executioners.
ドラートだ。リグナー様の見立てによれば、この少女が我らの唯一の障害。
Fucking wipe the floor with him,
あとはグラ
Frieren.
ナト伯爵を懐柔するだけ。
言っておくけど私強いよ。
俺よりもか？
断頭台のアウラ
Oh! Ah! Ah!
Show us!
Okay, that was Frieren, Season 1, Episode 7. I didn't want it to end. It hurt when it ended. I physically felt pain when it ended.
I agree with that, especially with
Man.
what she says at the end. While I don't think it was boastful of her, like, I don't think she's bluffing with saying that she's stronger than, is it like Aura? Aura. I totally believe her when she says that. But what a way to end the episode with her saying a line like that in front of, like, a underling of this person who probably also would want to fight you to honor that person that you just dissed, basically.
Yeah. Man, I love the nature of this show. I think that in any other show, I would have expected for them to put Frieren on the back burner in this scenario and been like, no, you're wrong. They've changed. Times have changed.
Yeah, I thought maybe they'd stick with the demon thing, the possible peace envoys for a little bit. Like, you know, you give this idea to us, well, Frieren's gonna get locked up because maybe she isn't willing to understand that they could have changed after all these years, and her experience with them was 80 years ago.
I'm glad that didn't happen.
In 80 years, and spend a little bit more time with everyone else even getting convinced. Like Fern or Stark, I feel like if this was another show, they would have gone the route of convincing Fern and Stark that the demons were, in the same way that Himmel didn't want to kill the girl immediately. Put Frieren in the same position she had previously been in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like another show would have done that, but then to not do that, it totally subverts the expectation that you have of this idea of these demons that now have a person-looking form and can imitate human speech.
It's so interesting because, like, at least from my how I took the episode, it was like there was a light foreshadowing to it in talking about elves and the lack thereof. Like there's just this nature of these beings themselves in this world that is so fascinating. Like the idea of these demons like evolving too, right? Like even since Himmel has passed, when they would usually just utilize the term mom. Why? Just because it gets the killing to stop. It's like they've evolved in the same way that magic had evolved versus Qual. Like it's just like getting.
While Qual was kept in a state where he couldn't continue to learn or evolve because he was basically sealed in stone.
Yeah.
It's like giving you that idea that the what if a enemy that Frieren had previously fought has had just as much time as she has to grow and learn and have new techniques, new magic to be used against her.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, and I feel like an idiot for it, but even after that girl killed the chief and handed that daughter over to the other family, a small part of me was like, oh, this is like a similar character in Chainsaw Man, where that to everybody's detriment, they are oblivious and don't understand culture or the feelings around things. But now, after this episode, I'm reaffirmed in thinking that, no, that was just the next necessary step in hopes that you could get even closer to people and kill more people.
Because the demon still sensed that there were people who weren't willing to believe that they were worthy of living. So in their demon brain, they were like, well, they're mad at me about the daughter, so how about I just give them this one?
Yep.
That will appease them. Part of me, my first initial thoughts to seeing the demon, because I still thought they were going to be humanizing the demons at the point of the introduction of this little girl demon. I thought that we were still going to be on this path that was then subverted from my expectations of humanizing the demon. And I was like, okay, maybe there's a lost in translation thing that's happening here where maybe the chief did something shitty and the demon saved the daughter from the chief. Like maybe there's something there where the demon actually protected the child.
Yeah.
That was my initial thought. Because I thought that was what they were attempting to do, was show that while misguided and the wrong choice is killing someone, the demon did what they thought was like the morally right thing to do, which
Yeah.
was saving the kid. And that ended up not being it at all. There was no reason to kill the chief.
Man, okay. Starting from the beginning of the episode, like, we start off getting a little snippet of time on the road with the OG gang, right? And we're getting more context on Flom and the fact that there are so many fakes, and within that amount of fakes, some are more likely, some are more convincing than others.
Some are better than others.
And through that, it gives us the idea that Frieren might be one of the only people, if not the only person alive, who could even picture her face anymore.
Right. And I think that brings us back to, I think it was last episode. We watched all of them in such a quick succession, the 1 through 6. So it might not have been last episode that we actually got the actual book of Flom's. And Fern was like, what? Wait, really? Flom's real? I thought that was a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And that brings us into talking about why Himmel, other than what he says is, I want people to remember how handsome I am. The statues, it's better than all of those fake books, grimoires that people are trying to pass off as Floms, and that people think Flom's a fairy tale, this mythic thing that, do you even have a real book of theirs? But the statues everywhere of the 4 of them and of Himmel will remind Frieren forever, just so she knows for sure and everyone else knows that these people that she met and knew were totally real.
Yep.
And they were not a fairy tale. And I love that idea.
It's awesome. I think that it comes full circle, and it's like the show manages to do such like a you know, in poetry, like the rhyming schemes get so complex at like further down the road in education that it's not like A B. In like a similar way with formulaic plot points and like plot lines in TV shows is usually like an episode like, oh, just an A plot, an A and a B plot, A, B, and C plot. The way that they usually are resolved or tied back together are somewhat, I'd say, again, formulaic and like traditional. The way that they bring plot points back into the episode to be able to, you know, highlight them or end them is so interesting to me. Like the idea that the plot point of being more than just a fairy tale, you know, and what was the word that Himmel had used? So you won't be alone in the future. We really existed, you know? Like it's so beautiful and sad and like beautifully tragic. It's like, it's so, I don't know, it elicits so much for me.
We also then go into this idea of Frieren talking a little bit more specifically about her as an elf and what that means for her interpersonal relationships and how her heart works in comparison to a human heart.
My god, it's so cool.
We start the episode off with this idea of humanity's magic. That they're reminding us this distinct difference between humans and magical creatures of myth and lore. And with that, we're also given this fun fact that elves are basically going extinct because they lack romantic interest and like the desire to procreate.
Dude, how fucking awesome is that? Like, not that elves are going extinct, but
that sucks.
that it's like we're getting that detail and reasoning behind it. I love it so much.
And there's with it gives us more for the solitude and the isolation that we know that from the last 6 episodes we've watched. We have heard so much about Frieren. Are you going to have any regrets about not getting emotionally invested in the people that you're meeting in the here and now?
Yeah.
And there is this solitude and isolation she's keeping herself in, rather non-intentionally, because it's probably a part of her nature as an elf that she doesn't desire that closeness. But now, you know, maybe she's starting to desire something more.
To some degree. I think that maybe... I don't know. Desire is a weird word in talking about Frieren at the moment for me. But I think that it's kind of in the same vein as we got the idea of a barrier last episode of like keeping monsters out, and that's the same reason we can't escape over it, of why it's just the attention to detail and like treating your audience as if they are thinking about things that, you know, and just going the extra mile. God, I appreciate it so much, man.
What are the differences between like Aizen and Frieren as other creatures other than humans that can speak human speech and live amongst the humans, resemble humans? What is the difference between them and the monsters that imitate speech too? Is it just the factor of why they are interacting with humans and what they are doing there that is the difference? Is it just how dangerous they are and how volatile they are? Because we're giving these creatures that live long times, that don't have access to the same human emotions that the humans do, but some are monsters and others are able to interact with humans safely. And is it purely just the element of what they eat?
Yeah. So the we lack romantic feelings and reproductive instincts. Like, my first instinct to question like why that is one, is it just a genetic factor, or two, is it the nature of living for so long? But with this added information, I'm thinking it's mostly genetic. Like, it's something that the elves are born with, that their curiosity and their intention of living is from the get-go slightly different than everybody else's. And I adore that. I think it's so interesting. Also, Flom being the founder of humanity's magic. We touched on it a second ago, but what does that entail? Like, how would an individual found humanity's magic? Like, we've seen progression that magic has gone through the Qual interaction, but being able to like take it as your own and utilizing it, I am so curious as to what that would have looked like, or how that would have been achieved.
I feel like we should be very thankful that we were given that interaction with Qual and the knowledge that there are academics that were researching his offensive magic in order to come up with defensive magic to it, but also to have everyone learn how to use it.
Yep.
And it's that same thing, I think, with like, we can take that and then it can inform our idea of how there could be a creator of humanity's magic, someone that was able to learn from monsters or beings that were able to utilize magic, like maybe elves could always, and you learn it and then be able to teach it and pass it down and convert it into a way that humans could understand or utilize.
It's so interesting and fascinating. Again, I absolutely...
Has to be an incredibly curious person, which makes sense that they would then have a student that is incredibly curious.
And with like other questions, we were given a shot of, it looked like a swing in front of a burning building for closer to the end than I thought. Later in the episode, I thought that it looked similar to the Chief's house burning down. But within the context of the conversation of elves going extinct, I'm not quite sure. I wonder if... I had this thought while watching it. I wonder if how Frieren remembers her own childhood outside of the teachings of Flom, and what revisiting that or thinking about that would look like.
So right there, we get this idea, we get the fact in this episode that the demons do not raise their young. We do not get told what elves do with their young. We just get told it is rare for them to procreate because it's not really a part of like their interest or nature. That gives us nothing of if Frieren had been raised and then when she got old enough, she lives on her own now. That totally could have been the case, but we have not gotten any fact about that other than the demons don't.
Yeah.
The demons don't raise their young.
Within the demons, I felt a little bit scared not scared, but like I felt like I might have an idea of what we were going to be facing in the near future in the 7 Sages of Destruction from Aura Guillotine. You know, like I had that idea in mind, but then at the end of the episode, when we were getting Frieren saying that she's stronger than Aura, I have a quite untouchable, unmovable image of Frieren's competence. Like, I trust her without question.
Oh, definitely. If I was traveling with Frieren, I would definitely not trust her to keep us out of trouble, but maybe trust her if, like, in a fight.
I trust her power scaling.
Yeah, I trust her power scaling.
And that is within mind. Frieren is saying this while acknowledging that Aura has regained her powers 28 years ago.
Which
so
means
with
she's had time
to get stronger
in this world, to be different, to have learned, to have grown, to have reamassed forces.
God. I love it. I love it. So I love the nature of how they showed us, like, right away where the demons' heads were at. And they were like, yeah, we can use these peace envoys, maybe as some peaceful contract to get them to take down their walls' defenses just as a sign of peace. And then we, I love the nature of how they revealed everything this episode. So good.
I like the line and idea, and Frieren said it a few times, so that's why I'm going to attach to it, that this idea of maybe this difference between the demons and someone like Aizen or an elf like Frieren, that the difference between them and the monsters, the demons, other than, man-eatingness, is that they speak with humans and imitate human speech, not to understand, but to deceive.
Yeah.
An elf, what we've been given with Frieren, and what I would imagine other elves would be like, is these wandering souls who live a long time, but they're constantly observing and just interested in different things. Maybe they have their own hobbies. She has liked collecting these weird spells, and now that she's gotten complimented on it, she does it even more. But that means that beforehand, she already was curious in that way.
Yeah.
And that's why they can just live these long times and just be gone from people and be separated from, like, the relationships, is because they're like, oh, I'm just gonna go keep doing what I like doing, which is over here. And that's very different than the idea that you'd imitate the humans, not just to speak with them or, like, go to the market and buy something from them, but to deceive them.
It's wild that they have this, like, intrinsic, like, they are good at it. Like, that's the thing.
I love the shot that we got
him looking around.
The room.
It's like, without even knowing what the word father or dad truthfully means, it's like they're instinctively good at deception, and they, like, it's so interesting to see.
Like, honestly, what he did was he threw back what the guy said to him.
Just
he threw
reversed
back,
it.
It's Garf, right? I think was his name.
Yeah.
He threw back everything he said to him, Graf, but he changed whose room it was. He used a word that he said, which was father, and then he took the same scenario of this room that has been kept pristine the same way the person left it, to which amasses, at what he could tell, obviously this must be important, an important idea to humans, that you leave things the way that person had, and you take good care of it, you clean it, you respect it, like their memory. And he just took all of that and just regurgitated it back. He just used it.
What makes it so fascinating to me is that it's almost as if like an alien race was observing humans and doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're getting what they want out of the conversation, but getting it without trying to understand, twist, and manipulate the human's intention.
Because he leaves that conversation, and the girl, I don't remember what her name is, the girl demon goes, "What does father mean?" And he's like,
yeah.
See, he had no desire to understand what father meant. It was a means.
Yep.
That's what Frieren uses, I think, the word saying that words are a means. That's what Frieren says.
So fucking interesting. I don't think I've ever seen, like, a portrayal of demons or elves or, like, anything as specific and satisfying as this in a long, long time.
I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm excited.
God. One episode.
Next episode's probably going to be good if Frieren's going to fight this executioner.
I don't think it's going to be much of a fight.
It's going to take a second.
I liked the animation of that executioner executing.
The thread?
Yeah, the thread.
That's always terrifying.
Yeah. All right, that's all I have you.
Yes.
Thank you guys.